Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. I've personally lost over 100 pounds. I've helped my hometown lose over 35,000 pounds, and now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by helping you gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And my friends, the perfect time to start taking action is now. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy, Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 224, Unlocking Your True Potential with Chuck Balsamo. I'm fired up for this one, but before I forget, I want to clue you guys in on something that starts today, and it is free. And I use the word free in like air quotes because you could actually potentially win money. You could even potentially lose money on this. It's a unique challenge that I've put together that I'm calling the Habit Launch Challenge. What I've noticed is that a lot of people are struggling with just being beaten up by life, and you're willing to put in effort. You aren't sure which direction to put that effort in. And my solution to that a lot of times is let's establish healthy habits. So I'm doing this healthy habit launch challenge periodically. The first one launches today. All right. And I've already hit the switch has been flipped. So if you get in soon enough, if you hear this in the morning, go to habitlaunchchallenge.com. You can opt in and get in the group. I'm not sure at what point they close the group, but I'm pretty sure you can still join throughout today. We will be doing these at least once per month. Now, the way this works is you get in the group, and the goal for this first challenge, I'm calling it the 10-minute you time challenge, where you will invest 10 minutes in you. You'll fill up your cup first. We will do self-improvement. We'll do meditation, reading. It's your choice. Whatever you need to do for you, you take 10 minutes and do it. You do a quick 20-second or less check-in on your phone every day for 7 days. That's the challenge. Here's where it gets interesting. This app that we are using, if you don't check in one of the days, it will charge your account $5. All right, you have to load your credit card up on this thing. So each day that you miss, it's a $5 ding. All of those charges go into a pool, and everybody that completes the challenge that checks in every single day splits the money. So you could potentially lose money, you could potentially win money. If you show up and execute, you've got a great new habit that is launched, and we have a lot of fun along the way. So if you're going to check that out, if that sounds like something that you might want to do, or if you are somebody that really struggles with having time to invest in you, the 7-day You Time Challenge might just be the ticket. So check that out at habitlaunch.com. If you don't get it on this round, no big deal. Just get on there, and I'll have some notes on when our next one is, and you can join up. All right, let's talk about today's episode. So do you guys ever feel like you're just stuck being that person that always has great big dreams and aspirations, but you never are able to quite hit the mark? And, I think that we all kind of struggle with this at times, myself included. A lot of times as an entrepreneur, I feel like I'm that person that everybody says, oh, he's got so much potential, he's crushing it, but I feel like I haven't quite realized that potential fully. And that's something I get nervous about. Like I feel like I need to reach that next level. So this week, I'm bringing in some help from a absolute powerhouse individual that has helped literally millions of people from across the globe, Chuck Balsamo. And Chuck is an extraordinary life expert that guides people to the 3 summits of wellness, success, and impact. And today, through writing, speaking, and coaching, Chuck inspires high achievers to see big dreams and also actually reach those big dreams, those big goals, and his results are absolutely phenomenal. Chuck is one of the most unique people I've met in my life. He's got the best beard ever. He's got sweet hair, but he just has his heart, and he just hands it to you. And he just says, I will, just borrow my energy. He's somebody, I feel like I really align with him. That's something that I try to do a lot. When I talk to you guys, when we're doing like free coaching calls or whatever, I can just feel the struggle is real for a lot of you guys. And I like to allow you to just borrow my energy. Let's build up some momentum together. And Chuck does that same thing. And he just delivers an amazing episode. If you feel like you're somebody that's stuck in a rut, this is going to be an amazing episode for you. All right. So I want you to listen in. Chuck is going to show us how to escape that rut that's there in our mind and unlock our true potential for greatness. You're going to love this one. So without any further delay, let's dive into episode number 224, Unlocking Your True Potential with Chuck Balsamo. All right, Chuck, welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. How are we doing today, my friend?
Absolutely wonderful. Excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, I'm really fired up to kind of meld our energies together here. I feel like, fair warning for the audience, this could be the most energetic and inspirational episode ever out of the 200 plus. So it's on.
Let's go.
All right.
I love it.
So I feel like a good place to start. Like, you do so many things, you help so many people, but what's the answer you give somebody if they're like, what do you do? Like, what's your occupation? How do you describe what you do?
I have this just unusual degree of optimism and mixed with empathy. And so I'm the guy, I always like to describe myself. I'm the guy, if you've ever gone cliff jumping before, I'm the guy who's standing there going, 1, 2, 3, go. And then they don't go. I'm like, okay, you can do this. You can do this. 1, 2. So just the ultimate encourager. I love people. Doesn't matter who they are, even the worst off people. Give me 5 minutes and I can find what your strength is and just really just start clapping and cheering, getting behind that, and just building you up.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I really love about your stuff. I follow you on Instagram. I love your Instagram stories, everything you put out there. And one of the things that I really connect with you is that when I'm coaching somebody with like weight loss and things like that, I tell them that they can borrow some of my energy until they build up their own. And I feel like you do the exact same thing. You are a lender of positive mojo, positive energy. And that just, you really make a difference for people. So when was the first time, I guess this is a good place to kick off the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When was the first time that you realized that you were going to be that person that could impact somebody else? Tell us the story of that moment.
That is a great question. I don't know if anybody's ever asked me that, but there was a defining moment. I mean, I think I've done it all of my life, but there was a time. My wife and I are both marathon runners. My wife's run like 56 marathons. I've only run like maybe 13 or less than that. But there was a time I had an injury. I had an IT band injury, and I couldn't run. I just could not do it. And there were so many races I actually would sign up for at the Racers Expo, untrained, just because I'd get there and all the hype and everyone's got their new shoes and everybody's ready to go and the music is pumping and I'm thinking, God, here we go. Yes. And so, but that time I just couldn't do it. So I had to cheer for my wife. I was on the sidelines and it was the first time I'd ever done that. So I don't know, mile 2 or so, I just start yelling this phrase, looking strong, looking powerful. I see you, number 7. I see you, number 27, number 149, number 499. I start yelling out the numbers as quick as rapid fire as I could. Then I'm like at mile 9, set up at mile 9. I'm going, still looking strong, still looking powerful. I'm at like mile 18. Look at you. I can't believe it. You've gone 18 miles, still looking strong. And I could see people who were starting to walk. I'm not talking like walk, run strategy. I'm talking, I'm dead. I have nothing left. And I would be yelling out, look at you go, 327. And they would look at their number and realize I was yelling at them and they start running again.
Wow.
And I thought, I have power to get people back on their feet again. And that's the way I want to be in life, man. So many people are just tired. They're just beaten down. And I just love to be that guy that's like cheering them back into the race.
Right.
It changed me.
Yeah. And so as you develop your entrepreneurial career and you get going, you're inspiring these people. I'm sure you run into a lot of people that are hitting rock bottom moments and people that are struggling with their life situation, feeling like they're not in control. And there's a lot of, victim mindset and things like that. And I know that a lot of people that listen to this show feel that way particularly about their weight loss, their body. And they feel like they come to this show looking for answers, looking for hope, looking for, that inspiration, kind of moving from the path of they've been motivated, but they've never been truly inspired. So how do you help people cross that bridge of somebody that's motivated? There's a spark, but how do we light them up and into full inspiration mode?
Well, I think first of all, I'm the most unlikely guy for you to have on this podcast. In fact, when you asked me, I almost sent you a message back and said, dude, I've gained weight over the last year. I know keto. I lost 30 pounds last year on the keto, on keto living. I've got some close friends. I understand. I can have an intelligible conversation, but I think the reason I should be on this podcast is I probably represent a lot of your audience.
Yeah.
I represent a guy who's an influencer, who's 47 years old, who plans to live, maybe another 47 years. I definitely want to make it into my 90s. And I don't just want to make it into my 90s. I want to make it into my 90s strong. I like to be still running marathons in my 90s, I want to be climbing mountains. I want to be hanging out with my grandkids and even my great-grandkids. I want to be mobile. I want to be having a great life with my wife. And so the struggle is real. And I think that, I'm starting to learn that, if your dreams, your dreams, when it comes to weight loss, especially, your dreams can't be just pie in the sky. I'm going to drop 50 pounds this year. And I think the value that I could bring to your audience today is to maybe have a conversation about, what I'm starting to realize is if I can't see it, if I haven't taken the time to wrestle through figuring out what I really want, not somebody else's goals. So many people hack other people's goals, man. They find a list, of other goals or bucket lists. Yep, I'll check off a list of 100 bucket list items. Oh yeah, I want to go there too. I want to do this, and that's fine. You can get inspired. But what do you really want? I remember I wanted to climb Everest at one point. And then I actually looked into what it takes to climb Everest. And I thought, I can't give my life to climbing Everest, and so I took it off the list. But I think that, you have to locate very realistically, you have to get real with yourself, and you have to get very real about where you are right now. And I can break this down here in a few minutes, but you have to decide what you really want. And you have to notice the gaps that exist. So you have to get, on the one hand, to get very real with where you are now. And then on the other hand, you have to get very real about what you actually want. And then you have to notice the gaps, and that gap could in the beginning just be like, there's just no way I'm going to make that. Maybe you want to drop 100 pounds. You go 100 pounds, and you know how it is. The first week, your body just puts up a fight and says, dude, we're going to hold on to all of it. And you drop 1 pound or you gain 2 ounces. And you go, I'm never going to get there. But you have to notice the gaps, and then you have to write a realistic plan for getting there and create routines. And the thing that I'm really thinking about right now, Adam, is, for me, what's in the struggle, I'm starting to realize that there will be big moments in my life, and I have to capitalize on them. But I am where I am today because of the way I lived every day on the average day over the last 10 years. And if I want to be somewhere 10 years from today, I have to change a day. I have to change now. I have to change my routines. And so this process, I would just say that I'd love to give your audience, I don't want to sound canned or anything like that. I've jotted down a few notes here. I'd love to give your audience, say, 3 steps to get real with yourself.
Yes.
That sounds a little harsh, but get real with yourself and create a real everyday life that will lead you to a real desired future. It's just, we have to get honest, man. We have to really search for what it is, man, that motivation, that dream, and figure out what we're going to commit to. Right.
Yeah. I love it because people, one of my things I like to say is people are great goal setters. We're not great goal achievers. And I think a lot of it is we set that goal and we kind of get initially fired up about it. And then it's like staring up at that giant mountain and going, man, that's going to be really hard. And then we get in our head and we get intimidated and we start talking ourselves out of it before we even start. And especially if they're on a weight loss journey and there's somebody that's lost 30 pounds 10 different times and they go, I remember how hard that was. I don't even want to start that again. So I feel like this is the perfect message for that typical person that's listening to the show, feeling beat down by that process. So let's dive in, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think health and fitness at 47 is about quality of life. I don't, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter to me that I'm at the beach and there's this really cool music playing in my head and I'm in slow motion as I'm taking my shirt off and my abs are ripped up and everybody on the beach is like, he's arrived. I don't care about that anymore. I'm 28 years married. My wife is smoking hot. I have eyes for her and her alone. And I think she'd accept me however I am. But for me, my motivation changed. And I know for me, it's about energy. Just even 3 years ago, I had endless energy. It didn't matter what I put in my body. I had endless energy. Well, that started to change over the last few years. And I'm realizing that I have to be intentional now. Yeah. And it's about mobility, flexibility. It's about being able to get around. I've got some grandkids now. I want to bring it, man. I don't want to be the guy, the grandfather who's, out of breath and, I can't climb the mountain. I want to be able to say yes to anything, and it's about influence. I think for me as an influencer and, I speak, I've spoken live on live media. I speak annually for the last 4 years now to 120,000 people in the Nelson Mandela Stadium on New Year's Eve, and 27 million people on live TV and radio in 5 African countries. And, that gives you influence. People are looking at your life. And I believe that you can fake it. You can fake out an audience. They're not coming into your house. I don't want there to be a large gap between who I actually am and what I'm actually projecting. I don't want to have to take energy or be creative to make up this persona. Yeah. Chuck, influencer Chuck. I want him to be the same person. Yep. And so, I just think that my influence is not really my reach. My real impact's not going to go beyond who I really am. So this is something I'm thinking about in my life right now. Brendan Burchard has a great program, great book right now. It's his 6 Habits for High Performers. And he talks about energy. And I tell you, it was a breakthrough in my own life. So, I think that's a good lead in. I think it's a good lead in. It is, I think for your audience, what value can I bring to your audience? I'm not a fitness trainer, but I am a mind trainer.
Yes.
And I think that this is where it begins. People have to win inside. I think before they even get their first supplement, they start learning exactly what their eating habits are going to be. They start trying to figure out. There's so many things when you're going through keto. When I first started keto, I was like, I was scared of fat. So everybody had always told me, you got to burn on sugar. Fat's going to clog your arteries. And so I just cut out sugar, increased protein, and I just didn't touch fat. And it was like, wow, I'm actually not giving my body a fuel source. Yeah. So you got to go through all of that, man. You got to ask the questions, but you got to decide the person you want to be first, and you got to win up in your mind before you're going to win, at the ketogenic living.
Right. So what do you feel like is the first step in the process where we're getting our mind right and getting real with ourselves so that we can actually go out and achieve what we're meant to achieve, and find that purpose?
Yeah, I think the first step is this, man. This is a tough one. This step is the toughest one. It is. You have to face your current reality. I said it really soft and poetic, but the bottom line is, one of my coaches said to me years ago, this guy, Mike Ferry, he's a big real estate coach, real estate agents, and he's a guru. And I remember I was sitting in his crowd one time and he just said, if the best thing you can do for your diet is to strip down naked in front of the mirror and look, don't go out and get another outfit and hide yourself with fashion. On the one side, you don't want to shame yourself. I'm all about, you have to accept wherever you are and you have to love yourself where you are. No question about it. So you got to walk that fine line, but you do have to face the reality. You're never going to change what you'll tolerate. Right. And so we have these ways of talking ourselves into just, it's okay, you know, it's okay for me to be 100 pounds overweight. It's okay for me to have serious flexibility problems, you know, and not be able to even touch my kneecaps, you know. It's okay for me to have 2 rotator cuffs, like just really hurting all the time, or, you know, whatever it might be. Well, no, it's not okay. And until we face that reality, you know, we're not going to make any changes. And so I think we have to be brutally honest. There's a book that somebody was just recommending to me, and it's the exact opposite of the positive message that we're all preaching to each other these days. And the book is like, you have to. I don't use a lot of language, but it's full of, you know, basically the guy is saying sometimes you need to look in the mirror and curse yourself out.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll tell you this. This is a good story for facing the reality. So I have a coaching client who says to me, man, I got to get my health. It's got to be the year. This is a couple of years ago. I got to get my health under control. Okay, cool. So tell me what motivates you. He's in his 40s, like almost 50. He says, I said, when was the best shape you ever been in your life? Oh, he said it was about like 8 years ago. I said, 8 years ago. What were the unique circumstances? Well, I was single. My wife had left me for someone else, and I was broken. I was at rock bottom, and I was on a couple of dating sites, and I was, you know, putting myself out there, and I just knew that I needed to get in shape for that, you know. And so he said, I really worked hard. I said, well, what's changed? Well, my wife accepts me as I am. There's no pressure now. She loves me. Matter of fact, she even rubs my belly sometimes and says, I love your belly. It's kind of cute. And so I said to him, he says, well, I'm married now. We've actually have 2 young children. He actually has older kids. They're graduated high school. One served in the military. Another one's going through college, or whatever the scenario is. And he says, so I said to him, you know, these younger kids 20 years from today, do you think you're on the current path? Do you think you're going to be alive? Do you think you're going to be alive for them? And it's just total silence on the other end. And he's like, man, maybe not. And I said, maybe not. See, this is what I'm getting at, Adam. It's drilling into that. So to my client, do you really fear this? Yeah, I think I do. I mean, honestly, do you have to be honest with yourself. Are you going to live 20 years if you keep living the way you are? And I said, what about your parents and grandparents? Literally, the client reached the moment where there were tears. First time, this is a tough guy too. First time in my coaching relationship with this guy. I've been working with him for years. This is a guy who's earning millions a year. Very powerful leader. And he just says, my grandfather died when I was young. He died at like, I forget, like maybe 60. And he said, so if I keep living the way I am, one of my fears, I didn't realize it, is that I'm going to die at the same age as my grandfather. I said, if he died at the same age as your grandfather, so if he dies at the same age as his grandfather, he dies before his kids graduate high school. I said, what if your daughters turn into alcoholics? They get addicted to drugs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And you're not there. You're not there to protect them. You know, isn't it going to be a shame, you know, if you can't be there for your daughter's graduations? What if you can't walk them down the aisle? What about your future grandkids? You die long before they're born. You never even get to see them. And so, man, the guy's just breaking down, and he realizes, I need to change. The idea here with this first step is face your current reality, is that you have to look into the future and ask yourself, what is the quality of my life 10 years from today if I don't change? 20 years from today if I don't change? And you got to take the time to really look. It's not fun to look at yourself naked in the mirror, but you got to look at yourself naked. You have to look and ask yourself the tough questions. You know, am I still going to be married? You know, am I going to be? For me, I'm 47. Somebody said to me a while back, live to 90 and you'll change the world. But if you die 10 years from today, you're just a shooting star. It's the next 40 years that will create legacy and affect hundreds of millions of people. And so I've got to put that on the table and go, if I don't change, I'm done.
Yeah, I think so many people kind of walk through their life with their hands over their eyes, just hoping that things work out. And just what you said there, like facing reality. There's a big trend in health and fitness, and I'm going to kind of tiptoe on this topic just briefly. Mm-hmm. There's a big trend of I'm accepting myself for who I am, and that's good enough. And just like you said, I see the positivity in that. But if we're 200 pounds overweight and we're morbidly obese, and you're working out, and and you have positive emotions about yourself, that's good. But like you said, where are we 10, 20, 30 years from now? What, some people tell me like, Adam, weight loss is dead. I'm like, the people who are saying that are going to be dead because they aren't taking care, they aren't respecting their body. They're telling themselves a story, and accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, that's important. But also let's invest in ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I've never said this to anyone before. And I think it's just this creative conversation that's just bringing out this great idea. And that is, I think the way you reconcile these two movements, how do I accept myself and have self-love, but yet motivate myself to change? And I think one of the ways you do that is, I think you have to say to yourself, when you're accepting yourself, you just have to be careful you're not accepting the current image of yourself. That's not you. You are the person inside of your body. And I think that, yes, I am my body. I am my current body. But I want to start looking at the person inside of there that I want to project far into the future. And I think that I can, because of that, I can look at where I am today and I can say, hey, I'll say this. I used to not like my butt, right? I don't have a butt. I went to the gym. I started doing squats. I was like, I want to have a butt, man. If I could just add like 2.5 inches evenly distributed around my butt, that would be amazing, right? I'm being honest with you here, right? And again, I love my wife. It's not that I want to walk out on the stage or because check out that guy's butt, but I just don't have one, man. And people have joked a lot over the years, like, Chuck, you just do not have a butt. But you talk about self-love. I finally turned the corner with that about 1.5 years ago. I turned the corner. I actually love my shape, my form. I like the image now. I like the image, but that doesn't stop me from saying this is the worst version of myself. And I still love the guy in there. He's not going to get penalized because he has a bigger body on him right now. But I'm also going to face the reality of forget about just fitness and physique. For me, it's completely different than a lot of people. I want to live long. Yep. I want to feel good. And I don't want to, I wake up in the morning. I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel great. I want to wake up in the morning and just surge into my life. I don't want to feel, what it's like when you're not fit, when you're overweight.
Yep.
You're just dragging it. What it takes for you to be energetic and to be powerful, you're having to carry. I'm not talking about the weight. You're just having to carry all of that unhealthy aches and pains, and your organs don't feel good, and just everything going through your body just feels so bad. And I don't want to be accepting to that. I want to love myself, but I want to permit myself to dream of another level.
Yeah. It's like, right. love yourself, optimize your health. That's the fine line that we've got to walk.
Yeah. Here. I think that's good. Yeah. So I think so there's that, face your current reality. And again, that can be painful for people, but when I say face your current reality, I think it's a lot about future projecting as well. And you have to live that path out and just figure out, if I stay on this current path, where does this end? Yeah. How much is it costing me? Brendan Burchard said this, from all of the 100 millionaires and billionaires that he's worked with over the years, he found one thing to be common with them when it comes to energy, that every single one of them trains themselves in fitness on level with a professional athlete.
Wow.
So you look at Tom Brady, right?
Yep.
I'm a Patriots fan. Super Bowl's coming up. By the time this airs, then it'll already be over, and everybody's going to have an opinion of what happened. But I saw you shaking your head, by the way, to the audio audience. But I mean, I was just watching Tom Brady, an interview of Tom Brady, and I got done, and I was like, my God, no wonder he's gone so far. You know, you can't clown around and be Tom Brady. You can't eat a bunch of junk and be Tom Brady. And it's like that with anything. If you have a big dream, you want to own $1 million company or $10 million company, or you want to, influence the world in some way, you want to, whatever it might be, then you have to ask yourself, can I get there if I don't take care of myself? And the answer is no. If you have a big dream, the answer is always no. Yeah. You have to deal with your energy management if you're gonna fulfill a big dream. Yeah. And I've taken too long to get to where I am right now to all of a sudden find that I'm running out of steam. I don't have what it takes to make it count. Yeah. I want to be in the prime of my life. How about you? Exactly. 100%. Yeah. I feel like that's a feeling that so many people just assume that isn't, like, you just can't achieve it, when it takes effort, it takes time, it takes us investing in ourselves a little bit. But man, like, for those of us that are striving for that and tasting that, it's so worth it, and I know that you know that too. Well, you also know, I remember hearing Tony Robbins say one time, he was talking about diets, and he said, you don't have to reach your ideal weight to feel the benefits of positive momentum. Yeah. And I know that you've said this, I'm sure you've said derivatives of this idea, but you lose your first 10 pounds or your first 20 pounds or whatever it might be, and and there's space in between your belt, or you can button the pants. Hey, I've been there so many times, button the pants and not have to like unbutton them underneath the belt, loosened up, and and everything fits right. And you don't feel like you're hurting when you're sitting down because your pants are too small. It's just, man, there's nothing like, and really that's another topic, but forward momentum versus negative momentum are just two different realms, two different ways of living. And I would think that everybody in your circle, in your mastermind, is in forward momentum. So they get the benefits almost right away. Soon as you start making progress, everything starts to change for you. Yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time after I'd lost 100 pounds already, and I bought a suit from a store off the rack, no alterations. And I was like, wow, that's never happened before. And you start to feel, at the same time, you feel normal, but you feel special at the same, like I've accomplished something extraordinary. Yeah. As I fit into a quote unquote ordinary body, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So, and your story is so amazing. By the way. Thank you. I've been so inspired by it, and inspired. I want to just say this to your audience, everyone. Just the way you promote people in your masterminds, and God, man, just keep it coming. You got the $1 Million Mission, but you're just inspiring so many people who are just not even necessarily in the circle. They're watching from a distance, but it's just feeding so much positivity, and it's just making people say, hey man, I think there are few events more inspiring than people reaching their goal weight, or reaching milestones, checkpoints. Everyone in your company, everyone in your family, it's just, you're taking so many people up with you when you do that. And, I love it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Now, once we have that looking in the mirror moment, facing reality, getting real with ourselves, being open and willing to do that, owning our current situation, what do you feel like the next step is to I think the next step progress? The next step is, and it's definitely distinguished from the first point, but it's definitely just an add-on. And that is that you have to take time to create real dreams and real plans. I think my biggest thing for many years is I love to help people write a life plan or a business plan. I'm all about plans. I'm obsessed with plans, because I think if you take the time to write a realistic plan for your life, and it takes a lot of time to do it, by the way. Getting clarity is not like a 1 hour thing. You need to journal it. and until you get like a breakthrough, an aha, eureka. You know, the light bulb goes off and you go, oh my God, I saw it. I saw it. For the first time, I see my future self. It's not easy. There's a struggle. People make it sound like it's so simple. It's not. But the more time you take dreaming of the ideal life, when I say the ideal life, I mean, there's a lot of people that say, I want this. It goes back to the Everest thing. Do you really want that? And what do you want? Because I found this. I think I wrote this down. Well, there's this great book called U Squared by Price Pritchett. I recommend it to everyone. It's just a real small, almost like a booklet, but it's probably one of the best books I've ever read. I've read it probably 100 times or more, right? But he talks about when you first start to make a quantum leap, the whole book is about quantum leap, making a quantum leap. He says, you make a quantum leap, the very first thing you need is a landing spot. You need a place where you can rivet your attention. You don't need to know how you're going to get there, but you do need to know where you intend to land at the end of the leap.
Yeah.
And I think the more crystal clear that dream is, if you want to lose 100 pounds in 1 year, then look me in the face and tell me you are going to lose 100 pounds in 1 year. If it's not 100 pounds, then make it 50 or make it 70. Specific goals are much more powerful than pie in the sky. I mean, we have to commit to something we actually want to achieve. And I think, I mean, I'm not an expert necessarily at living right and implementing all the principles that I teach to others. I struggle just like anyone else, but I have learned that the times I've been the most powerful in life are the times when I know exactly where I intend to land. It's jumping a gap. I have a friend of mine that jumped this gap one time, and I was yelling, no! It's the exact opposite of what I said in the beginning of the show. I didn't think he was going to make it. I said, do not. His name is Ian, right? He was jumping this gap, and he was around a bunch of people, and he's jacked up on energy. I knew the popularity ratings, were going up, and he was gonna die making everyone think he was cool. And I say that not in a derogatory way. He's the coolest guy ever. And I'm like, don't do it. But he landed. He landed the jump because he riveted his eyes on the spot where he intended to land. And then his body just came up to, all of his energy came up to that. If he had looked down at the spot where he intended to jump from, or if he looked at the gap, he might have landed in the gap. Yeah. So I think that taking time to figure out, what do I want to look like when this is over? If I'm going for a transformation, what do I want this to look like when it's over? 1 year from today, I think you can go so advanced on this. Like, I recommend people actually write like a 1 or 2 page journal entry from the future. Like 1 year from today, you write down the date, whatever this is. What is this? January 31st or 30th or whatever we're at, and whenever it's going to be in March, whenever this comes out, right? So you go, okay, it's March 2020. I cannot believe what this last year has been like for me. I still remember when I stumbled onto the $1 Million Pound Mission podcast, and I thought to myself, I mean, do you see the tears getting in my eyes right now? I mean, on the video version of this, like I feel it. And I thought to myself, I've struggled for so many years to actually lose this weight. I've been down on myself. There's a mountain in my town. Everybody else has climbed it, but I've never been able to climb it. And whatever it might be, but you get really specific and you go, and then in June, I hit my first milestone and I had dropped 20 pounds and I felt so much better. I started walking. By the end of August, I actually ran my first mile, the whole thing without stopping. And then in November, I ran a 5K race and I had lost 50 pounds and I never felt so good. And I remember the day that I went and I shopped for some new clothes and I went to this party and everyone was complimenting me and it felt so good when I was being complimented. And here I am 1 year later and I'm so proud to write in my journal, I have lost 100 pounds. See what I'm saying? Like, see it. You have to see it. If you can't see it, you look at a golfer, professional golfer, they visualize the ball in the exact spot where they intend for it to land.
Right.
you know, and that's the way it is. I mean, so we have to take the time to go, do I really want to do this? Oh, I think I do. And then see ourselves getting there, and then writing a plan, a 1-year plan with deadlines attached to every activity. I'm really big about that. You know, if you want to lose weight, break it down to your increments, break it down. You could coach much better than this on the topic, but you know, what am I going to need to do for mindset? What am I going to need to do for preparing my meals? You know, you're gonna take and you're gonna break down the whole entire thing into a plan, a strategy. You know, so that and you'll know you got the right strategy when you actually look at it and you say to yourself, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's actually, whoa, I see each step. If you can't see a step, you probably haven't broken it down enough.
Yeah.
And you just got to take the time to break that thing all the way down until you go, I could literally see myself reaching this level a year from today.
Yep.
Right.
Now, I know you probably run into this as much as I do. Like, I love plans. I plan everything. I feel like step-by-step action. I'm an implementer. Like, I have no problem doing that. It's natural to me. I run into a lot of people, and it's usually the person that goes out and does a lot of like personality tests and, you know, Colby testing and like personality profiling. And they say, Adam, my magic personality profile tells me I'm not a born planner, and I shouldn't. I need things to work on the fly, and so
sure.
Do you feel like we can adapt plan? Like, do you feel like anybody can adapt to planning, or like how do you deal with these sorts of people? Because they drive me nuts, Chuck. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you know, I'm super OCD, so everybody else out there that's like me is like, oh, I love this guy. He's amazing. There are other people who probably already tuned me out. They're not even listening anymore. They're like, this guy is he's too regimented. I can't handle it. There's a great book called Improv Living or Improv. It's the word improv is in it, and she's a professor at Harvard University, world-renowned leader in improv, teaching improv. And she talks about there's 2 different ways to live. You can live by a plan, where you know every step and the end, or you can start with whatever you have and you follow the yes path. So all the yes path people, I found that you can still operate inside of a structure. You just want to make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to be artistic and to draw outside the lines. I think even more so, having routines, which is my third and final point. I'll go ahead and get to it because I know we're probably dragging on here. I don't want to outwear my welcome. My first
Oh, you're
time.
good. You're good. Just roll with it, Chuck.
The third step would be to establish real routines. And I think that if you're not like Adam and myself, and routines are a struggle for you, just create the most necessary routines, because what will happen is that then gives you permission to live in freedom for the rest of the time. Just decide what you're going to do every day. Decide, you know, like for instance, and I said this, I think in the beginning of the call, big moments can have an effect on your life, but your future is really going to be shaped by the way you live every day, right? Each day. And so you want to ask yourself, what is the perfect day for me? What is the perfect day? What is the perfect week? What is the perfect month? And then identify all your challenges and your potential pitfalls. And the key is you don't want to make commitments that you don't intend to keep. And it goes back to the same thing with dreaming. You don't want to set dreams that you don't intend to pursue, because you want to establish integrity with yourself. And so I recommend, no matter whether you're regimented or you're more of an improv person, a morning routine, if you can just crush it with a really good morning routine, live however you want to when you walk out the door. But if my thing is this right now, this is what I'm preaching to everyone, I'm teaching to everybody is crush it for the first 3 or 4 hours every day. And, you know, the chances of you failing are if you crush it, I think you should front end load all of your biggest routines in the beginning of the day. Don't give yourself. There's a book called Disrupt You, and it's by Jay Samit, and it's a long book about business disruption, industry disruption. But one of the things he says in there is that when you're trying to make a change in your life, he talks about willpower, discipline, and habits. And he said you only need discipline while you're establishing a habit. Once you establish a habit, then you don't need discipline anymore. So we go, you're so disciplined. No, you only need discipline when you're trying to break a bad habit and establish a new one. So it's all about habits. But what you need in order to create a habit is you need willpower. Willpower is like a scientific thing. You either have it or you don't have it, and willpower comes and goes. When you wake up in the morning, your willpower is at the highest level.
Yep.
Like disproportionately off the charts at the highest level when you wake up in the morning, right? So what happens is they show a chart in the book. They go, by lunchtime, your willpower has tanked. If you take a nap and you eat right, or maybe you exercise at 1 or 2 o'clock, or I'm sorry, right after lunch, 1 o'clock, your willpower almost comes back up to morning level, but not quite. And then by the evening, it's at the lowest level, and you'll struggle. And now what's really important about that is to know, and also willpower goes down, it runs out with exposure to temptation and fatigue, right? So that's why if you're at home, you're stay-at-home mom or dad, and you're watching TV and there's ads on all the time, or you're scrolling social network and your friend who owns a donut shop advertises their next great donut release, you're okay in the morning. But at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're done, man. But you have to recognize that your willpower is lower in certain points of life, and you're gonna purpose yourself to use discipline during those times. And then the key is eventually is you want to create a new habit or a new routine. And I think for me, when you talk about 3 steps to getting real with yourself, when you're going to face your current reality, you're going to create real dreams and plans, and then you're going to establish real routines. I think for especially anyone who's trying to have a physical transformation, and I'm sure you teach about this, Adam. I think it's magnificent if you can. I think it's smart to say, at least for a while, on Mondays I eat this, on Tuesdays I eat this, on Wednesdays I eat this. I think it's smart to once or twice or 3 times a week to prepare all your food in advance, have it all ready to go.
Yep.
The less you have to think. Don't put yourself in a position where your willpower is low, you haven't established broken out of bad routines, broken bad habits, and then you have to make a decision when your willpower is low. Absolutely not, man. So my thing is this: start early in the morning and get your energy for the day. I have a 12-step morning routine. I'll be dropping a video on my YouTube, which don't go there now. There's nothing on it. But one of my first videos that I'll be releasing is my morning routines.
Nice.
Because my morning routines, one of the reasons I am where I am today is my morning routines have been 3 to 4 hours long for 28 years, for probably about 25 years.
Wow.
Maybe 23 years. When I was in 1995, whatever that would be, I started morning routines. Actually, a little bit before that. But the idea is that my morning routines are very specific, and I take the time to figure out, what do I need to do for the first 4 hours of every day so that when I start my work, I'm almost guaranteed to win?
So what
routines? Yeah,
I know I'll get questions about this. So give us a quick snapshot of what that looks like. If you're okay with releasing that top secret 12-step formula.
So yeah, one of the first things is I use this app, and just disclaimer, I am an affiliate on this, but it's called Nozbe, Nozbe, Nozbe. And what I do is I'll go to my projects. Let me just deselect these. Okay. So, and I'll just show you this, and I'll send you a snapshot of this.
Nice.
if you want to use it in some way or pass it on. But basically, I've created a recurring project. It's called Daily Rituals, recurring project. I've taken the time. This is what I recommend to everyone. Don't necessarily take mine, but figure out what do you need to do from the second you wake up, the time you wake up. I even, little things like we got 2 new puppies, right? And when I got up in the morning, I would wake the puppies up, and my wife would get mad because she stays up later than me, gets up earlier than me. So we're on a different schedule. And so then what I would do is I would lay in bed instead of going to the gym for a while, and I'd just be hostage sitting there because the dog slept in our room. And if I opened the door at night, the cat would come in, the dogs would chase the cat all around the house. So I had this variable. I became a hostage set. So I finally said, all right, I'm going to get all of my gym clothes. I'm going to put them in the hall bathroom, socks, everything. I'm going to get all my toiletries that I keep in my master bathroom. I'm going to get the same exact set of toiletries are going to be in the other bathroom. Brush, hats. I don't want to have any excuse to not go to the gym. I'm going to put my keys in there, my key fob for the gym. It's all going to be sitting there at nighttime before I go to bed at night, right? So that all I have to do is wake up, walk straight to my door, open it, shut it, go into that bathroom, and that bathroom is like Clark Kent's, phone booth.
Yep.
I transform into the person I'm going to the gym, right? But I don't go straight to the gym. I wake at 5 a.m. This is my first thing. This is what I have written down here.
Yep.
Wake at 5 a.m. Next thing I do is I meditate with the Breathe app, which I'm not an affiliate on that, but I highly recommend it. It's amazing. The Breathe app. I usually do a couple of maybe a 10-minute routine, a 5-minute routine, just maybe one with gratitude, one wake up with joy, something like that. Super cool. I sit down, I breathe, breathe in deep, breathe out. I've never been a real meditate guy, because I'm a spiritual guy. So I spend a lot of time in praying and stuff like that. But just working on my mind and my breathing has been amazing for me. Yep. Recently. Then I pray, read Bible, and journal. That's on the spiritual side of my life. I do what's called a clarity worksheet, where I've actually taken the time to figure out the kind of person I want to be right now in this phase of my life. I envision the future for. That's even more specific about today. I start to look at my schedule and I go, who do I want to be? Okay, I see I'm going to be doing a negotiation at 2:00. What kind of person I want to be during that negotiation? I see I'm going to be helping a friend of mine with their marriage this evening at 7 on FaceTime. What do I want to be? I want to have empathy. I want to, I'm going to spend time with my wife. We have date night. Who do I want to be for my wife, right? So I take the time to figure out the kind of person I want to be today. And that's from Brendan Burchard. Mm-hmm. I recite my life plan, which in my Nosby app, my life plan, all I do is click it. It clicks a link, goes to my Dropbox, opens my life plan. I scroll through it. It takes me about 2 or 3 minutes to just read through it. It's a working document, but most days I'm just reading it, right? And then I listen to my recorded affirmations. And so when I click on my recorded affirmations, again, Dropbox opens up. I've taken the time. When it comes to affirmations, this is off topic, but I think it is important. You talk about mind training, is you want to locate your disempowering beliefs, about reaching the next level, and then write down 3 or 4 of them, and then write the opposite empowering belief and turn those into affirmations so that you're programming your mind for the next level. Right. So for me, I have at every phase of my life, I have
started to bless me for 2 decades of sacrifice. This time will not be like any time before. I am worthy of success.
So
everyone in my faith, thank God.
So I've taken the time to create affirmations that are very specific to how I want to think right now.
Right.
So I listen to my affirmations every morning, right, during that time. So then when I'm done with that, so then that's checked off. Then at 7:15 a.m., I work out at the gym. And then I get back. I listen to podcasts when I'm at the gym. So I have that to check off. When I get back from the gym, I noticed I would linger around and my work would be delayed because I wasn't taking my shower right away. So as soon as I get back from the gym, I was like, I need to create a trigger. So I shower and get dressed for the day, dress for success, as soon as I get back from the gym. And then I finish the rest of my routine. And the rest of my routine is I relax. I make coffee. I'm a coffee fanatic, right? I make myself real nice craft coffee. And then I read and I watch videos. The videos and the reading is specific to skills that I'm trying to develop in my life right now. Each day, I'm developing a specific skill that's taking me to the next level. And then I review NOSB, and I look at my calendar, and I set priorities for the day, operating off of the one thing idea. What is the one thing I need to do today that if I get it done, everything else becomes less relevant or not necessary?
Yes.
And then at 9 a.m., it's a late start time, but at 9 a.m., I start my work. The key is this. I mean, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you probably don't have to work as long as you think you do. If you crush it in getting energy and getting focus and clarity, and you're ready for the day when you start your work, and you eliminate the gray lines between on and off, and you just surge into your space, and you be powerful, then you can step out of it and relax in the evenings or whatever your routine is. But I think that's mine, and it's not going to be cookie cutter, but I don't know. Does that help?
Oh, heck yeah, Chuck. I mean, I think that's why we vibe so well, is like I have a very similar pattern that I launch my day with. And the funny thing is, you said 9 a.m., late start to the day. That's when most people start their like work. That's like the 9 to 5 mindset. Yeah. But they're rolling out of bed at 8:30 and then rush. Adam, I don't have time to journal. Adam, I don't have time to meal prep. I'm like, well, what time do you wake up? Oh, I wake up about 30 minutes before I'm supposed to be at work. So I can't wake up early. Well, why can't you wake up early? Well, because I go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m. Right. So let's trace things back and then start, respecting our body, like I said before, and invest in the process a little bit. And I've converted a lot of people to, okay, let's go to bed a little bit earlier. Okay, now we can wake up a little bit earlier. Yeah. What are we going to do with that time? We're going to, jump into a process like you just described, and it's a game changer. So I know people are listening to this and they're thinking, but I can't get up at 5 in the morning. Well, maybe just go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Yeah. Or just shim 30 minutes off of the time you go to bed, and then get up that 30 minutes earlier and invest that in you. That would be a great starting point, and then build into the Balsamo technique.
Especially if you're a husband and wife. I think it's smart. I don't know if anybody ever talks about this. You should, when you figure out how you want to live, I think it's something that husbands and wives should negotiate.
Yeah.
I had to say to my wife, okay, you like staying up until 11. 11 really is too much for me. I can't do it. Can we get that back closer to 10? And we had to work on that. And then when I knew that I was frustrating her several days because I was waking her up, I was establishing a routine, I had to say to her, okay, your mind is going to adjust at some point. You're going to know I get up at this time every day, and you're just going to sleep through it. But in the beginning, I'm going to wake you up a little bit. Can you be okay with that for just a couple of weeks? Because if I can't start this routine right, I'm not going to be the person I need to be for you or for anyone else, And I think we have to know at all times, like, what we want. And I'll tell you one more thing. I was with Justin Schenck and just met Justin Kavanaugh. Am I saying that right?
Oh, yeah.
What a great guy. I just had a great time with those two guys who are great friends of yours. And I was just telling them that what I'm learning in my life now, you can crush it for about a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you can become the laziest person on earth and still fake everyone out. You can still have enough energy, and you can live on yesterday for a long time. But you're either going forward or backwards in life. And I know for me, again, it just comes down to this. If I'm going to be taking on, as I have, and I'm coaching people who are aiming for 10 million or 50 million a year with their company, people who are trying to make quantum leaps in their lives, and they're paying me money to be at my best. I think the best thing I can do for them is to be in a constant flow of knowledge, to be in a flow of energy, to be living exactly what I'm going to be proposing to them. I don't mind spending a little bit of time giving out theories, but I like speaking from experience. And I want to be the best version of myself. And, there's no, I don't know. I was going to say there's no easy way to do that, but for me, it's easier for me to be in routine and to be living in the right habits than it is for me to be in those periods of life where I'm lazy and I'm unhappy with myself.
Yeah.
I just, the joy that I feel when I'm living the way I want to live, the way I've decided to live, instead of living mindless, being thrown all over the place. I love when I'm focused, and I get off focus every once in a while, but it's friendships like this that keep me focused.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the best way I could attempt to sum up what you just said is that this journey won't be easy. We're going to have to do a lot of changes, a lot of shifts in momentum. But the key point is that we're worth it. Our dreams are worth it. That thing we're trying to achieve, that's worth it. So let's just start putting in the effort, right?
Man, I don't have the scientific research for any of this. I bet you do, or you've at least heard it and could quote it. But I know if I live 5 years, my doctor told me a while back, I went to like a world-renowned cardiologist because I've had heart condition in my family and I was having chest pains, and I thought, dear God, I feared for a while I was just going to die young. I didn't see myself in the future. It was a terrible time. I overthink things, and I'm like, God, I'm going to die. I'm feeling sentimental all the time. And so I finally go to this guy, and I'm like, I need you to check me over head to toe. And he's like, man, your heart is great. I said, okay, good. I can go get a bagel and donuts. And he said, yeah, sure, you can do that. He said, but here's my advice. You're 45. I guess I was 45 or so at the time. He said, hedge your bets going into old age. Because if you're not careful now, you're going to be that guy who ages fast. And you're just going to go down fast. Take care of yourself. Build up momentum going into old age so that you'll age gracefully. And I just know that if I don't live right, if I don't live intentional is a better word than live right. If I don't live intentional, based on my dreams, based on the future that I want, backing it all the way up like we talked about on this call, then I have to face the reality that, yeah, God could keep me alive despite myself. He's probably done it for a lot of people, thank God, right? But if it just comes down to biology, every 5 years I'm not living the way I should, I'm probably cutting a year or so off of my future.
Yeah.
I just don't want to die young, man. I want to be around. My daughter needs me. My son needs me. My wife, we talk about it sometimes, like, I don't want you to go first because I want to be here for you, but I don't want you to go first because I can't live without you, right? So it's just, I don't want to do that to my wife. I don't want to leave her with 20 years of living without me and having to go remarry someone else, and I'm going to have to kick his butt when he gets to heaven. I don't know, man. I want to live long. I want to live adventurous. I was looking through my photos a while back. My family drives the wheels off of our life when it comes to like adventure. You should see the way we live. If I died now, I have already lived 100, I would say 100 lifetimes, but I have lived multiple lifetimes because we live in the moment, man. We make it count. Been around the world. We've done everything you can imagine. But I got a lot more I want to do. Yeah. It's a huge world. There's lots of people I want to impact. I want to feed countries before I die.
Yep.
I've done a lot with compassion, but I want to do a lot more. Yep. And so I need to live. I need to live long. I need to have energy to do this. Right?
Yes, sir. Chuck Balsamo, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, my goodness. As promised, you ignited us here today. Now, I know people are fired up, and I feel like we just hit the tip of the iceberg. So you're gonna absolutely have to come back for a round two for sure.
Thanks.
Now, what if people want to invest in some of your information, get connected with you? You've got a great website, blog, resources on there. You have some great free resources with the year plan as well. So how do people get connected to that?
Yeah, the free plan, I'm actually working on a complete overhaul. It's actually going to become a product that before this year is over, probably before June, first half of the year. And so definitely get a hold of that now while it's sitting there as a free resource. Just go to chuckbalsamo.com and you can get my life planning. It's called Here to There, Mapping Your Next Steps. It's very thorough. I actually, I've developed a lot of those ideas much more than what you'll see in that PDF. It's like, 40 pages long. But if you take the time, you will create a next step plan for your life. Follow my Instagram. That's probably like my hub. I am using my Facebook as well, but I like to interact with people in Instagram. And if anybody out there is looking for a coach, I specifically do well with entrepreneurs who are, definitely well into the six figures, aiming for $1 million and beyond. Really like to work with company owners who are trying to scale, people who are trying to understand, get clarity, and trying to understand the value of their time, and just be more on when you're on, more off when you're off. And I can create profits for the right people. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. We'll link that up in the show notes and on the blog. Now, I like to leave by putting our audience into action. We've inspired them. We've driven them across that line of being motivated to being willing to take action. Let's say there's somebody that's listening and they've been in that rock bottom moment. For whatever reason, they were meant to listen to this episode and they hear you and they're fired up, but they're also in that moment where they're scared. They're kind of, frozen in action. And you get one shot, Chuck, to look this person in the eye and tell them something. What are you going to say?
I would just say that if you're really at rock bottom, I mean, you're at the point where you're crying a lot. And even right now, you're at the point of tears. You're feeling the consequences of just being thrown all over the place. I would just say that rock bottom is literally the most beautiful place you'll ever visit. Build a memorial stone there. Just decide that you're not going to go any lower. Make this the moment. Some people have a towering threshold for pain, and that means that they can handle it. They can Brendon Burchard talks about high performers, and he says one of the most damaging qualities of a high performer is that we can go for years without quitting. We can just keep muscling through. We can be out of balance. We can not be focusing on some area of our life and just keep going. Don't keep going. Don't keep going like you are. Make a decision. It's a new year here. Make a decision to just mark this as the lowest you'll go, the heaviest you'll ever be, the worst you'll ever feel, the most pain you'll ever carry inside of your body. I would just say this. I really do believe this. If you can see the future you want, you will find a way to get there. Take the time to figure out, go back through this podcast and look at these 3 steps that I've given you that we've talked about today, and rise up. We're all cheering. We all believe in you. We want to tell your story. We want to clap. We want to click like and comment, way to go. And we're on the other side and we're cheering and we're saying, come on, let's do this.
Awesome. Chuck,
there it is.
Thank you so much for bringing your energy to my audience and my show here, man. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, everybody. You have been lit up by the Chuck Balsamo experience, and now it's time to get out there, get into action, and own it every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. Oh, my goodness. What did I tell you, guys? What did I tell you? Did I not tell you that Chuck was going to bring it? That dude... he's amazing, right? He's absolutely amazing. Make sure you check out all his info. The info is in the show notes here. And I thought we'd do a unique little challenge this week. Something that I've been doing or been trying to keep up with lately is, and you may have noticed this, when you guys download like the battle plan workbook or something like that, I've been trying to do more and more video messages back to you guys. And this is not automated. I know a lot of times like you download a thing and then an influencer you'll get a video, but it's automated. It's like, hey there, fan. Thank you for downloading my product. What I do is I use an app called Bonjoro, and I see somebody you just picked up my battle plan workbook, a free copy of that. I will send you an email. I type in your email address, I type in a little message, and I record a video for you personally. I say your name, and people are like, how do you do that with the name? I'm like, no. I just did that. That's you can't do this on scale, but I'm trying to keep up with it because I feel like I want to level up the experience that you have as a podcast listener and give you something that's just a piece of me. That's just me and you, right? So my challenge is this week, I may regret this, but I think I'm up for it. So I've got the free download for my Transformation Battle Plan Workbook. It's my number 1 tool. It's at millionpoundmission.com. Just go to millionpoundmission.com, top of the page, Transformation Battle Plan Workbook. This is April 15th week, 2019. All right, I can't be held accountable past this week. But everybody that downloads the workbook this week I will send you a personalized video, 100%. All right. Now, I can't be held accountable if the spam monster eats my video, but I will send one out. So leave a valid email address and wait for your personalized video to show up. And if I don't do it, I want you to call me out on Instagram, and I will do a video of myself doing 10 burpees, and I will give you a shout out for calling me out and catching me for not sending you a video. All right. Now, my Instagram is at Million Pound Mission. So again, it's a little challenge. Anybody that downloads my free workbook this week will get a personalized video message from me to you. I will hit them all. And if I don't, you call me out on Instagram and I will do 10 burpees in your name, and I will tag you with the video and I will post it. So let's have a little fun with this. I thought it'd be a fun thing to do, a great way for us to interact and again, level up the experience between podcast host and podcast listener and kind of bridge that gap and interact a little bit. So if you have any questions about that, you can kick me a email through the contact button on the website. But again, millionpoundmission.com. Get yourself a copy of my best tool, the Transformation Battle Plan Workbook. And then let's see if I can survive the challenge. And I'm looking forward to sending you your personalized video. All right, my friends, I appreciate you. Talk to you soon.